Space, the final frontier. Oh. Hello everybody, my name is Coyoteon and welcome to GIC Agents. So today, I'm going to be doing a brief little video about my initial reactions and impressions with this game, LEGO Avengers, otherwise known as LEGO Marvel Avengers, but I'm not calling it that because LEGO Avengers is a lot easier to say. So, yeah, this is me in free play. This is the first level you go to. It, kind of covers the beginning of Age of Ultron. And, yeah, so fair warning, I haven't played too far into this game. In fact, I'm just now reaching, like, the 6% mark, so, but anyhow, yeah, so this is just, gonna be a brief little video about my initial impressions with the game. So, I guess I'll just kind of start off first by saying, I guess I'll start off on a positive note and talk about the great things. So the great things is this game has charm. I can tell you that much. This game has lots of charm to it. I mean, it brings that LEGO charm to the Avengers, films. Well, not only the Avengers films, also, Captain America, the first Avenger, and Thor, and Iron Man 3, and many other films. But the point is, really charming, as to be expected, but also the animations in this game are quite good. I say as Black Widow is having a seizure in the corner, but the animations in this game are quite good, especially when you're fighting and when you're doing a lot of the combat stuff. The animations in this game are brilliant. So I mean, that's good. Yeah, but again, you'll see some more examples of the of what I like about the animations later on. One thing I'm not a big fan of is in this game. You might have noticed it as when I was fighting the Strucker's henchmen earlier, but it's sort of like a miniature animation slash combo you can enter at times that there's a miniature animation slash combo you can enter at times that helps you. I guess, I mean, really the only real thing it does is makes you look cool, essentially. But it's open at all times, which I'm not a big fan of because it seems like it should be something that should build up after a time, like over a course of some combos. It seems like it should be something that builds up and not something that's just available to you at the moment. And the reason I'm going back on myself is there's a mini kit piece somewhere through here that I believe I can get as Iron Man if I can find him. Iron Man? Iron Man! Come back to me. I'm sorry, the character grid's a bit confusing on this one. Iron Man, Iron Man. I know I unlocked him, or at least I think I did. Iron Man. Wow, okay, this is already going great. I'm looking for characters that I'm not entirely sure I have. Here we go. Alright. Tony Stark, Age of Ultron. Do I only have Tony Stark? Do I not have him as Iron Man? Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that is really cool. Alright, so sweet. So, you just start off as Iron Man, or as Tony. Wow. I did not know about that, actually. That is great. That is great. Alright. Okay, kudos to you, LEGO. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And that little animation where you saw where he poked him on the shoulder, like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I love those little animations and the charm behind this. Minikit piece got. Achievement unlocked. Not really, but yeah, so it's great fun. Here you can see some of the animations I'm talking about now too, where he's using his lasers. He does a little spin with them. Yeah, as you can see that. I mean, brilliant animations. That's blast. Like I said, the charm aspect of it's really good. Visually, it looks really nice as well. This is probably the most LEGO superhero game we've had so far, if that makes sense. Like, pretty much nearly everything's done in LEGO. There aren't I mean, obviously there are some background assets, but a lot of the stuff is done in Lego, and you'll especially notice that when you enter the free roam. That's what I'm talking about. That animation there, where you can press circle, you can do those at any time, and they defeat your enemy really easily. But I don't like that. I feel like that should be something that builds up over time after a combo, but you can just do them at any time, and I don't necessarily like that all that much. Another thing you can do at any time, I'm not able to show you now, but another thing you can do at any time is this game has a new addition. It brought in like combo attacks, in which case you can use 2 of your characters to do a heavily powerful attack that destroys pretty much everything around you. And unfortunately, the same thing with it is it can be done at any time. Now, I do understand that this is a game that's designed for children, but it still doesn't necessarily change the fact that that shouldn't change the fact that that's a bit too easy in my part. Like, I mean, I understand this is designed for children, but even children, I imagine, are more capable of doing, are more capable of doing it than that. Another thing that is actually coming up soon that you'll get to see is another interesting addition that is used, and I cannot get over the fact that you enter that HUD display. That is great. But another thing that'll be coming up pretty soon that you'll find is interesting is sometimes in there you go. Sometimes in levels, you can see that A over there in the corner. I'm just destroying all these to make sure I get everything, because 100%ing is what this is all about, except not really. I may not 100% it. 100% is Lego Batman 3 though. Anyhow, I'm getting sidetracked. Let me destroy all these first, and then I'll finish. But you can see that A over there in the corner. Well, sometimes in levels, there are transitions that are done using 2 different characters. Now, this is more of a scripted event, more so than it is just something that naturally occurs in the game, but it's still really interesting. Allow me to show you. Circle, and then we're going to need our lovely Black Widow, wherever she may be. There she is. And yeah, you can do this. Now, these are more scripted events than anything, and they're not anything that is necessarily something that naturally occurs in the game, but they're still interesting nonetheless. There you can see Hulk in a nice mini cutscene, and yeah, so I mean, nevertheless, they're still interesting and fun to do. And I almost just died. But yeah, so I really don't have a another thing I meant to mention is this game is actually different from Lego Marvel Superheroes and the Lego Batman games, in the sense that this game uses audio bits and audio pieces from the Marvel films on which it's based. So, for instance, that for one good example, I actually mentioned it in one of the previous podcasts I recorded. Check the podcast out, by the way. But anyhow, one example is occasionally when you're fighting as Hawkeye, he'll one of his audio lines will be, "Have you ever been unmade?" Which is, of course, a quote from the first Avengers film when he was talking to Black Widow about being under the spell of Loki's mind control. So originally I was a bit nervous about that. I was afraid about how that was going to go, and I can't do this without Ultron, so never mind. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least, but yeah, originally I was a bit worried about that. Originally I was concerned that that might not be for the best, but it eventually ended up turning out to be rather good. Yeah, unfortunately though, it's not the case for every character. Like Bucky, for instance, who I'm playing as right now. Oh, here, let me show you. See, you can do this. You can do one of these attacks at any time. You can do that at any time, and I feel like that's a bit overpowered, but what are you gonna do, I guess? I mean, it is a kid's game, so maybe I need to give it a bit more credit than it, maybe I need to give it a bit more credit, but still, that, I feel like that was a poor design choice. But anyhow, it very much is like, but anyhow, going back to the voice acting, it uses audio clips, but not for every character, so it's a little weird. Like, and I assume it's mainly due to like the actors not wanting to give over their license, or not technically their license, but you know, not wanting to give the studio the permission to use their voice. So Pepper Potts is one example as well, and both her and Bucky, like their voices, and it's not even so much that they didn't use the voices, it's the voice actors they did get don't sound like they do in the films. So it's really kind of strange in the sense that that is so awesome. In the sense that, yeah, it's sort of strange because you'll be expecting to hear Gwyneth Paltrow and Paltrow, and you'll be hearing this person that doesn't even sound like her. But I mean, it's fine and it's understandable, and that's not even the case with just those characters. It's the case with the main characters in this game at times as well, because obviously they can't use nothing but lines from the movies, because they need other lines and things they need to say, because they are doing a loose adaptation. It's not exactly a 100% true adaptation of the films by any means, but so I mean, it's more of a nitpick really, but it is kind of noticeable, and it's a little annoying. See, that's a nice audio clip as well. Robert Downey Jr. There's no version of this where you come out on top. I mean, it's really nice when you do hear those. It's really nice when you do hear them, but sometimes when it's an outside voice actor, it kind of takes you out of it. But I mean, still, it's great nonetheless. The voice acting is enjoyable. I was actually fearing the audio clips, but it turned out to be pretty good in the end, so I guess that's all you can really ask for. And yeah, so another thing that is slightly aggravating is the constant barrage of enemies that is in this game. As you can see, I've taken out many an enemy just in this section alone, and they continually keep respawning, and I understand they have to add some difficulty to it, because otherwise it would just be pretty ridiculous otherwise. But it still nonetheless is kind of annoying when you are trying to. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. The character strange, a little bit difficult to work with sometimes. But anyhow, it still does kind of throw you out of it a little bit when you're trying to. Oh, also, you can use these character interactions to destroy things in the environment as well, and like in this case, get a mini kit piece, which is nice. But yeah, I really like those, and a lot of the character interactions, well, between specific characters like Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and Captain America, are actually character interactions that they did in the film. Like, for instance, that's an example of when in the first Avengers movie, when Cap, Iron Man, and Thor were having the fight in the woods, the Shakespeare in the Park quip or whatever. That's a good example of that, and. And then another great example is, later on in the Avengers film when Iron Man shoots his repulsor blast at Captain America's shield, and Captain America, grinds him along his shield and does that. So, I mean, those character interactions are really nice, but I will admit, but yeah, the character interactions are really nice, and they can be used in the environment to do different things. And I mean, just in general, it's a pretty nice they're pretty nice. I will admit though that the voice acting does kind of throw you out of the moment, but I mean, it's not exactly a huge concern. But yeah, just in general, it's a solid Lego game. Obviously not a whole lot of quote-unquote innovation here, because the last Lego game to have any manner of innovation was, oh man, I can't even think. What was the last game with what was the last most innovative Lego game? You know what? There's not one that comes to mind. But I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I mean, they came up with a pretty good formula, or at least I think so, and a lot of other people do as well, because the games, do pretty well in terms of sales. Ooh, character, who's it gonna be? I can't tell. Let me bring that up. It looks like You know what? I can't tell. I can't tell who it is. Maybe maybe said characters in my grid now, and I can see. Probably not yet. It doesn't matter. But anyhow, new character. Also, another thing I meant to mention about this game, I haven't really experienced it, you know, firsthand or anything yet, but it has quite the interesting character roster. You know what? I'm actually there are probably going to be characters in this game that even I don't know, which is saying something, because I'm a pretty big Marvel and/or superhero fan, because it does a lot of I have noticed it just based on the back of the box art and stuff. It has a lot of all new, all different Marvel characters, which I don't necessarily know how I feel about, because I'm not a big fan of all new, all different Marvel. But nonetheless, that's just a personal preference. But anyhow, yeah, just in general, it looks like it's going to be a blast to play and a blast to get around. I mean, I loved Lego Batman 3, and I think I'm gonna love this one as well. And you know what? I actually think that I'm pushing my time limit a bit here. So, you know, you got to see a little bit of the level, and I got pretty much everything I wanted to say out of the way. So, thank you, everybody, for watching. If you like this video, give it a like, give it a comment, maybe subscribe even. Also, check out some of our podcasts and check out some of our other videos. And like I said, everybody, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.